I think losing became so normalized for me because of how often I wouldn't do well, or I was just so used to being 8th place or 8th seed that losing just became the norm, and I was like, damn, what do I do? What do I do? But I was a consistent variable on a lot of the bottom teams, and you cannot sit there and be like, oh, he wasn't the problem. Oh, just get him a good team. I would play fights bad. I would give up my lane. I would give the jungler a lead because I would never have solo prio, so all the enemy team had to do was play around the blue side of the map and they'd just get a lead. I was a people pleaser, and I would never really say when I needed stuff done. I'd try and handle it myself instead of just putting my foot down and telling people what to do or what I would want that would help me. I would very much be like, yeah, don't worry guys, they're invading my blue again. It's fine, I'll handle it. Don't worry guys, I'll play the losing matchup. Yeah, no guys, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm 0-8. I got late game. It's fine guys, don't even stress about it. He's someone who, like, always took care of me. Didn't even know me that well, but let me into his home, you know, let me hang out when I was homesick. Always let me stay at this place for like a few months because I didn't have a place to stay. Was always like very extroverted, always tried to teach me a lot. I don't know, he's someone who always like stuck up for me, even when I was like doing bad or, you know, having a hard time in the league. He was like someone I wanted to make proud because he always had faith in me. As the years went on, I started to put my foot down more and like, no, I don't think that character's good. I'm gonna get blasted. So I changed how I picked, how I called my jungler over, and I think that benefited me a lot. And I got more confident, and I think that showed when I was on the Hounds. I think my best ever like LAN performance was the Hounds LAN qualifying for SPL. I think that was like the best time I've played Smite, and that confidence and that year off I think really helped. I didn't want to have a career where I was just 8th place for 10 years in a row, because that, for me, I didn't want something like that because I wasn't proud of it. So to win in such a dominant fashion and have such a like a good set of games, even if we'd have lost, I would have been happy with how I played. And I think that was like something different than what I was used to, because other times I'd lose and like, damn, it's my fault, damn, I didn't play well. But this time I was like, I played so damn good, it didn't matter if we won or lost, because I was proud of myself.
Now it's Duck3y on the tier who can keep this warpath
I
going.
didn't think Hercules was meta until just now. As clean as you could hope from Duck3y.
Joining me today, we have Duck3y. Duck3y, welcome, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's so nice. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Duck3y, I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like trying to prepare for this, and I'm like, all right, like, what was it that got me into Smite? What was it that got me into Smite 1? I was like really thinking about it, because Smite's like this sort of, it's like a niche community type of game, right? It's got like a smaller community, but it's a very, very dedicated community, and everybody will just like fight for Smite. Kind of sounds funny, fight for Smite. And I was thinking in my head, like, what really got me into that game? What like started driving me? Specifically Smite 1. And I think it was just like the way all the characters felt. Like when I first started playing it, every character that I played felt super smooth. Scylla, like my first penta was in Clash, not Clash. Yeah, it was Clash. And I got a penta with Scylla, and it felt flipping amazing, dude. It felt so good. And I kind of wanted to like know what got you into Smite. Like, what drove you to really want to start playing the game as well?
Oh my. Okay, that goes way back. So I was like 13, 14 in my quickscope era on PS3. Yeah. I didn't have a computer, I didn't have a laptop or anything. And I used to play a lot of Borderlands as well. And I watched Trendkill and SNK4 a ton, because they made Borderlands videos, and they started playing Smite in beta. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I can't play it because I don't have a laptop, but my uncle gave me his like hand-me-down one. So I started playing Smite because of those two, and then as I got better, I bought like a new PC from Challenger Winnings, and then so on and so forth. And then I eventually met SK, because he worked at Hi-Rez after a bit.
Really?
Yeah, so I got to meet the person who got me into Smite, which is kind of cool. But I don't know, I really enjoyed Mythology. Whenever I played it, it felt really smooth, like you said. It's just one of those games where everything feels fluid, which is surprising for how fast-paced it is. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
Dude, that's super sick. What was that experience like meeting SK? Like meeting the guy that actually like got you into the game?
No, honestly, it was so like surreal. I think I was geeking out a ton whenever I first met him, and like all the Hi-Rez employees, like Hi-Rez Bart, Hi-Rez Kelly, who I'd used to watch on like Smite game, I used to snipe those games a lot. But I had a different name then, so they won't know. But yeah, no, it was very surreal meeting them, and I still follow them on Twitter, still like occasionally interact with each other, which is dope, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What was like what were the first game modes that you started playing when you first started playing it? Like, what really like kind of hooked you into it?
I mean, to start off, I played a ton of Arena because I had no clue what I was doing. Then it was Joust because I played with one of my friends, Kyle. I played with Kyle a ton, and that was when I think it was when Mercury released. Is when I started playing, roughly, give or take. But we played a ton of Joust, and then we moved on to Siege whenever that came out. However, my friends stopped playing with me after a bit because I was taking it very seriously, and I was like min-maxing and kind of like micromanaging people, which is never fun to play with.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I started. Then I moved on to Conquest and started watching streamers.
Yeah. Did you play any like rank joust at all when that was out?
Like a little bit. I could go in my Smite 1 and check like my ranked leaderboard history. There's probably a Silver 2, Silver 3 in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're out here micromanaging people in casual joust. That's crazy. Yeah.
I was learning, man. I was like, damn, I want to get better at the game. I want to improve.
No, absolutely. No, I totally get that. I was kind of similar. So like when I first started playing, like my friends had gotten me into the game and I was playing with them a lot, but then they just eventually stopped playing and I was like, bro, I love this game. Like I absolutely love this game. I want to keep playing. And then I just got into like ranked, not Conquest, but ranked joust initially, and then learned all the characters through ranked joust and then went to ranked Conquest. And I gotta say, I feel like Smite, from that aspect, like getting into a MOBA, Smite had the game modes to do it. Like I'm not sure if I've never played Dota. I don't think League really has this as much. I know they have like training and all that kind of stuff, but like Smite had all these different game modes that you could just kind of go into, learn what the characters do, and have a really fun time doing it, right? Like start off like not at your most powerful, but like Clash, you start off at level 5, or 3, something like that. And then like you could learn all that, then actually get into Conquest, get into the competitive side of it, and just kind of go from there. So with that being said, what sort of got you into competitive? Like obviously, you know, you were micromanaging your friends like in casual, so you wanted to be competitive, but like what was that like thing that really drove that home?
I think I've always had like an interest of when I get like an obsession with something, I want to improve on it regardless of what it is. I never had like I didn't go into the game thinking, yes, I want to be pro, I want to do comp. It was just something I enjoyed doing. And I liked being good at it. So I would snipe streamers. I'd play a lot of Duel. I loved playing Duel because I loved... Is it arrogant to say I loved being better than someone? That sounds so arrogant to say.
No, it doesn't at all. It's like you have to have like an ego to compete. So many people have told me that, and I think that too, right? To a certain extent.
But I would snipe players in Duel. I sniped Quig a ton whenever Quig played. But I think that game mode stuck out to me because it was like, if I lost, it was my fault every single time. It wasn't like, you know, our teammates screwed up. It was always me. But I'd watch the streamers. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'd get into their games. I'd play ranked. And I was like, oh, ranked is fun. I like that competitive edge. I like climbing. And then I got, I'm kind of like going on a tangent here, but then I got asked to sub in for a Challenger Cup team. And that's where I was situated. I was just on the sidelines for a little Challenger Cup team with big man Tingz, Lofes for Cephal, Daza. It's Daza or Dazer. I get the two names mixed up. Irish guy, lovely. And I was on that team, and that was my first little team.
Was the team called Septum 7?
It was it Septum 7 or Spicy Waffles? I'm gonna quickly check for you. Because if I go to my wiki, it should be on there.
Spicy Waffles, huh?
I'm pretty sure... Oh, my wiki picture's awful. Okay. Yeah, we had Septum 7.
Yeah. So
in
what?
my-
So I mean, besides and I actually kind of like how you talked about Duel being the place where you could kind of blame yourself. I mean, I might say matchup gap. No. But I like that because it gives you some sort of like self motivation to also want to get better because like you know that you can't just pass the blame off to other teammates. Do you think you were always hard on yourself from the get go? And do you think that, like that's what really helped to drive you to that sort of like competitiveness?
Yeah, I think I was uh, very harsh on myself and where I wanted to be in regards to like playing and how good I was. And I would typically, it's very noticeable. Like my first 6 seasons of playing, I would always pick bad matchups a lot of the time because it helped the team instead of I don't know, having an ego and being like, no, I want to play this guys. I will do really well on these picks. And I think as I guess my career started to progress, I started to do that more. And I think it showed with how much better I started to play when I just picked characters I was good at instead of what was good in the moment. And what was the question again?
No, I was saying, do you think like that self drive or that self sort of like competitiveness or beating yourself up essentially, do you think that like drove you to become a more like competitive player? And do you think like you were really, really hard on yourself and that really helped you to like thrive?
I think it's good in moderation. I think being hard on yourself's fine, but sometimes you've got to be like, yo, yeah, you can't just keep giving yourself a hard time just because, you know, you screwed up one fight or you misplayed one area of the game, right? I think it's okay to want to improve and okay to point things out that you can possibly work on, but I think constantly criticizing yourself and you know constantly only focusing on the negative stuff is never going to benefit you. So I tried to do it in moderation.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that thought process too. That's kind of like my thought process for not just competitive, but like everything in life. You know, try to like have some sort of balance. My dad would be laughing at me right now if I said that. He's not going to see this, don't worry.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I think a bit of self-drive, or not self-drive, a bit of like self-pressure is really good. But if it gets to the point where you kind of start like making yourself depressed, like maybe you're taking it too far, maybe you're over the edge, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like a lot of competitive players, a lot of professional players such as yourself, like have that to a certain extent. You know, if you like talk to some of these guys, like everybody has that, like what we were talking about earlier too, like ego, everybody has that to some certain extent. And that pressure that they put on themselves is probably why they got so far up, probably why you got so far up as well on the Smite ladder. So one thing I want to talk about, one thing I really wanted to get into today was kind of like going over your tournament history and kind of like really seeing how that shaped you as a player. Yeah, you're smiling right now, but we're going to do it. So starting off at that first tournament, or rather that first team that you're on, Septum 7, like you said, with Darzerm, BMT, and all those people, you said that you were a sub on that team, right?
Correct.
Initially? Okay. So from what I got from the wiki, and most of this is from the wiki, so you can check it, but you guys ended up getting 3-0'd in the semifinals, and this was the summer of 2015. And I kind of wanted you to, if you can remember, I kind of wanted you to walk me through how that felt. Sort of like being on this team, being a sub on this team, and getting 3-0'd. I don't know if you played in those matches. You didn't? Okay, but like
No, I don't believe I did.
Okay. But what, like, did you feel anything like, oh man, that sucked that my team just got 3-0'd, like now we're eliminated, I can't play anymore?
Well, I mean, for me, as a sub, I wasn't really, you know, I wasn't playing anyway, but I would sit in the TeamSpeak, because we used TeamSpeak back then.
Right.
And, you know, I'd, like, be watching the games on the side. Like, yo, you got this, guys. Or if someone, you know, was late because they were at school, yo, I'm here, if you need the sub. But to be completely honest, I don't remember too much of that one. I'm trying to go back to it for you.
Yeah, no worries at all.
That was a while ago. Oh, that was against. Oh, that Wolf of Elo Street, Moex. Oh, Game Hunter. Holy moly, that was a while back. Yeah, no.
I mean that was their first like Pro League match.
Holy.
Yeah, first team.
Yeah, no, I don't remember much of this, but I was usually just on TeamSpeak, listening to the guys as they played, and I was trying to like take notes as like what I could do if I was to play, ideally, because I'd never really had that experience.
So because this was like your first competitive team, and you guys ended up losing, you guys were out. Was it sort of like a motivation? I know you didn't play directly, but was it sort of like a motivation factor for you to try to get back onto another team? Like, did you like getting that taste of competitive? Did you like it to the point where it's like, okay, now I want to like really play, really try to get onto a team as like a main player?
Not really. I think I had offers at the time, for different teams, but I was content being a sub because I didn't really want to commit, and like I said, I wasn't too interested in competitive. I was just kind of, oh, these guys are cool. I enjoy watching them play. You know what, guys? I'm around if you need anyone to sub in. Happy to do that. It was kind of like, I'll step in if need to, but I was never, fully interested in actually taking, a spot. Oh, and to add on to earlier, I forgot to mention this. Whenever people would like critique themselves, I think it was more along the lines of they know they could have done better over just giving themselves a hard time. It's more you hold yourself to a set standard, and if you don't compete to that standard, then I'm angry. Then I'm like upset with myself. Like, oh, you should have done this. You cannot let like pressure get to you. You cannot let chat get to you. You cannot let comments get to you. You have to like be at your best, and I think that's the main time where critiquing yourself and being hard on yourself is fine.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, and I totally agree with that. I mean, when I get the most mad in the video game, it's not really because somebody else is getting me mad. It's more so like you said, I could have done better. I'm kind of getting myself mad, but in a good way, right? Like, because I'm driving myself to try to get better, that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit to Season 3 Pro League.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the qualifiers again, and this time you're playing with a team called Team Astro, and you have Wolfie, Rapio, and a few others on your team. According to the wiki, you guys also lose 3-0 first round to a team called Team Leftovers, which are Nika, Cherio, and pretty much like a bunch of goats, right? We all know what happens down the timeline.
Down the line, yeah.
Yep. But later this year, so this is Season 3. Later this year, you did actually end up being in Pro League, but it was with a different roster, Panthera, with Adapting and Melito. So what kind of happened, if you can remember, between the qualifiers and sort of getting placed on that team? And I know that you were a sub for this team as well, right? For Team Astro?
I was a sub for... Was I a sub for Astro? I'm trying to remember now. Hold up. So long ago. It feels like forever ago. It's probably because it is now.
Don't worry, we're starting off at like the very beginning, and as we get closer, the memory's gonna start fading in. Yeah.
It'll start kicking in.
Yeah.
No, for Astro, I think I was the solo laner, or we just kept switching it every now and then. But after that LAN, I was asked by Panthera, because I was a sub for them for a while, because I liked those guys. You got Rafa, who I ended up teaming with later anyway. Dimmy I looked up to a lot. So I think Dimmy was on a school trip, which is why he couldn't play. So they asked, yo, can you just sub in for this one game? I was like, yeah, sure. So I subbed in for that game, and we did really well. I think I played Vamana and Bologna. I remember those two. And then after that, Dignitas reached out to me to join their team. So it was after I subbed in that I started getting like offers. And I can say now, I think, because hopefully the contract's voided. But back then, it was the salary for when I was on Dignitas was 250 a month.
That's like I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like that much, but like at the same time too, I feel like that's like okay
When you're a
sort of
kid,
starting
yeah.
out. Yeah, for sure. Like when you're a kid just playing video games like in school, and like you're just playing video games, like it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can officially say like, hey, I'm getting paid to do this, so I guess technically I'm a professional now with it, you know?
Yeah, and we got a lot of perks. Like, I got a lot of gear. I can maybe show you. This chair I'm sitting on is my Dignitas 2016 chair.
You still have it?
But my cats have absolutely obliterated it, which is why it's got the blanket on. But yeah, I've still got my dig stuff.
Dude, that's awesome. You're like me, bro. I just keep it till like it's absolutely just broken, you know?
Yeah, until I can't use it, it's staying.
Yep, 100%. Oh, dude, that's so lit. And so, and you said Panthera ended up becoming Dignitas later on? Or
No,
was
no.
it Astro?
No, so
Or something.
Dignitas was its own team already.
Okay.
But I subbed in for Panthera, and then after subbing in, the Dignitas roster asked me to join.
Okay, gotcha.
And that was Suntouch, Big Man, Shadow Nightmare, Frostiak, and then like Frezzy as well at some point, I think. If I'm right.
I will say that guy that you subbed in for kind of dodged a bullet a little bit too, because I don't know about you, but like I feel like the rule is don't ever let somebody sub in for you, because if the team does better with that person, you might be getting the boot, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't think Dimmy was ever going to get the boot, though.
oh, really? He was that good?
Yeah, I don't think Dimmy was ever going to get a boot.
Yeah, but I kind of that's cool though that you were able to get offers off of that game that you subbed in for. And one thing I like to ask people is that, and I think this is a really interesting question. It really pertains to this. Do you think like some of your career or a lot of your career was like the initial portion of it was based off of like luck, skill, or both? Like luck in the sense that you were lucky that the main solo for your team had left, and then you subbed in, and then because of that, you were able to get, offers because you played well. So do you think it's like not a lot of luck, but do you think there's like a decent amount of luck involved when it comes to becoming a pro in a video game? Or at least in your experience?
I think it's luck, and I think it's connections. For the most part. For me, I like to think I was relatively friendly with everyone, so I had a somewhat good reputation. So no one, didn't want to team with me because I was an asshole. I can't really say that. A bad person.
No, yeah, you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
An asshole. So, usually if you're planning to team with someone and you play against them in ranked and they're just typing nonstop and they're just off their rocker, I say that, but we've had a few people in the league who've done that. But you're less likely to want to team with that person. So I think that helped. I got lucky. And then for SPL, I think it was very hard to get brought up into SPL unless you either won the qualifying or you played in games against other SPL players, because there was this ego or this not even ego. A lot of the time you wouldn't really look at the Challenger Cup players unless they played against SPL, if that makes sense. It's hard to gauge how good people are unless you put them in that setting. So I think getting that opportunity, which was very lucky of me, helped do that. And the team I joined was the team I beat in that game, now that I think about it.
Wait, the team you joined was the team... Oh, really? Okay, so you beat them and they're just like, yo, come play for us. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I feel like that was really true. I mean, I wasn't on an SPL team, but at least from the rumors that I had always heard, it seemed quite true for the SPL, especially because when you think about it, a lot of teams, whenever they're scouting to pick up new players, they want to try to pick up players that have experience, like that already have experience in the league. So like there's a lot of, hey, this guy just got booted off this team, let's pick him up instead of picking up a young, promising dude from the SEC. Unless it was Pagon. That guy was absolutely insane.
Yep.
Everybody knew he was great. Yeah, Pagon was an exception. But yeah, so I feel like from that aspect, it was really hard to sort of get into the league. I think you're right, because people want that experience. And that's why it was like really bad too whenever they had closed down qualifiers for a number of seasons, a number of years. Because like, how do you even get into the Pro League at this point? Like, yes, you can try to get onto a team, but what's the likelihood of that actually happening,
Yeah, it was more, and I'm very hypocritical to say that. It was the same players recycled, which again, I was like 8th seed for 4 years, and I somehow kept getting back in, so again, I'm like guilty of that. But I think it's very easy to pick up someone you know over someone you're not sure of, especially when they started putting people together in houses or having us live together. You really want people that you kind of know and you'd be happy to chill with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then so going back to like the season 3 Dignitas team, towards the end of it, or rather even getting into the league, how does it like feel to now officially be on a team, in the Pro League, not as a sub, but as a main player in the Pro League? Do you remember like what you were feeling then? Did it just like feel crazy, like a euphoric feeling?
Yeah, it was very surreal. And then when I was starting to get like paid for it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then I had like the jersey with my name on. I got sent keyboards, which was like a crazy experience for me because obviously my computer or my laptop at the time was just I had an old laptop. I'd plug in my mouse, and that's how I'd play my games. So like getting equipment just handed to me was wild, and then using that money I could save up for a PC. I've still got it up on the shelf behind me. The first PC I got.
Really? Wait, can you show it? Wait, can you move the camera?
I can try. You'll probably see my skincare routine up there as well, but
dude, I want to see that too.
I've got the 2 PCs up there that I just keep. My cats usually sleep on them. So I got the one. That was my very first one when I was on Dig, and then the other one Fumble built for me. Back when Fumble. Good friend of mine.
A good friend of yours? Dude,
he was on SK with me. I try and keep all the memorabilia, but I'm losing space for all of it now.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm the same way. I'm like a nostalgic person, so I like to keep everything, especially stuff that you've earned, right? Like, It feels so good looking back on it like 10 years. I want to say it's like you can't buy it, but I mean, if somebody offered me $1 million for like my jersey or something like that, I'll take that. But, at the same time too, it's, yeah, it's so cool, like, looking back on that kind of stuff. I feel like that's one of the coolest things about competing is just being able to keep jerseys or things that you've gotten and just look back on it 10 years from now.
Yeah, no, I've got a bag full under my bed with all of them in, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do not fit me anymore, but I've got a ton. Down there. I can maybe get them out for you.
Dude, you gotta start hanging them up. I just hung up this one recently, like in the back. Yeah, dude, it's so cool. You just gotta like take some frames, like buy some frames, just hang some up.
Run out of room. All of these are my Grand's paintings that I have up. Then I've got Tokyo Ghoul poster. You can't see that. Then I've got two swords there. So I'm running out of space in the room to put them all. It's the sad part. So once I get a new place, I'll start hanging them up.
We got to get you a bigger room.
A little bigger room, yeah, maybe.
Now let's kind of fast forward a little bit to season 4 of the Pro League. So this is 2017 to kind of put into like a time perspective.
Okay.
And now you're currently playing for a team called Novus Orsa. So it's a little bit like some remnants of the Dignitas roster that you were on. And, you Shadow Nightmare. And then you guys later become Lion Guard Esports because you guys end up getting 3rd place in the spring relegation, just barely qualifying into the Pro League. So this is another like kind of what was it like for you question, because even though you were in the Pro League in season 3, you didn't necessarily qualify in. This is like your first time actually physically qualifying into the Pro League. So is there like another sort of feeling of euphoria here? Even though you're back in the Pro League, now you've sort of like officially earned it, right?
Yeah. So this felt like proving yourself, which is a very surreal feeling. It felt like instead of just being handed the position, you earned it and you were like meant to be there, which was nice. It was also with the Dignitas roster again, so I had Barn, Shadow, Frosty, all lovely, and Flurry Q. I think Flurry Q was on the roster at that point. All lovely people. We always went to Smoothie King when we were in the Staybridge. I've got some old Dignitas pictures. I don't know if they're still on their website. I might have to like dig for those, but from the first lands, it was a very crazy feeling going there and playing, especially when you're booking time off school. Like, guys, I'm not going to be in for a week. Why? Where you gotta go play a video game? Yeah, I got mocked a lot by the teachers for that, but I think it worked out in the end, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tell me you're a professional Smite player.
Yeah,
like, oh
exactly.
shit, yeah, this guy gets a pass. This guy gets a pass. So you guys end up going through the regular season. I believe it's the spring split, and at this point, like, you guys just aren't doing too well. All things considered. So you end up joining a team called Enix. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Enix, yeah.
Enix, okay. Whew.
You good?
For the summer split. So now you actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about is now you actually end up playing with BMT again. And I think like this is your third time teaming with BMT. So I kind of wanted to ask you, like, what's sort of the history with you and him at this point?
Me and Big Man, Big Man was on my first team that I subbed for. So he was just kind of someone I knew and was comfortable with. I've always been a fan of Jordan and like how much effort he puts into the game. I think people were sleeping on him a lot, and I think he, like, especially in the later years, he really showed how good he was. But yeah, he was someone I was always happy to team with, someone who was always like friendly. I never had an issue with. And then I got to team with Fumble for the first time. Loved that guy. Lobster, Cherry as well. Forgot about Cherry, and Slainy as the coach. Slainy was someone I really enjoyed working with as well. But Lobster, Fumble, Slainy, they all got me out of my shell because they're very outgoing people. Very I don't want to say party animals. Just very, very lovely people to be around. So I think that was refreshing for me, who was very sheltered and shy, and it helped me kind of open up a bit.
Do you think that sort of outgoingness also translated into the team environment? Like,
but yeah, for sure, because they would always communicate their like issues. No one would ever like hold anything back. If Lobster had an issue with how Cherry ganked at level 2, pause the scrim. Cherry, what the fuck was that? Cherry, nah, reload the game, guys. We're restarting. Back to Pix and Dance. And it was so different being on a team where everything was just communicated in the open. Even if fights happened, I think it's better to get it out on the table.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
And was that a big change from your previous team? Was your previous team sort of the opposite from that?
Not entirely, but you had like some people that were quiet and some people that weren't. Like Shadow Nightmare, he didn't hold back at all. I loved him. He was so like outspoken, would always communicate. But when you have like a full team of that, it's a very different environment. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like I kind of tend to like those environments a little bit more as well. They are considered to be more toxic, especially to the outside eye. You know, when they look at something, they're like, yo, this team is very toxic. But I feel like there's a lot of hidden, like it's good, right? It's like a good toxicity, unless you're just absolutely just shitting on somebody for no reason.
Yeah.
But that's crazy that you guys would pause scrims like 2 minutes in and start talking about it. If I was the enemy team, I'd be like, another pause, bro. Come on. What are these guys doing?
No, we would have that. But like I said, if it was usually like, if it went that bad early game, we're just not going to play it out. There's no point, is how the thought process went. But they were also like a fun team to hang out with outside of scrims. And that's something I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that added to the team environment, sort of the cohesiveness of it. That probably also just added to the gameplay as well. I mean, if you can chill with your teammates outside of scrims and you just want to spend time with them, you know, that builds a level of trust. And I feel like trust is really, really big when it comes to a team environment. Like, you trust your jungler to gank, or you trust that your jungler is going to do something. And if you're kind of hanging out with people outside, it just adds to that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay, so now let's fast forward a little bit to Season 5 of the Pro League. So now we're in 2018. Hopefully the memories starting to come together a little bit more too. We're getting there. Yeah. Duck is like, I just remember the last year. That's about it. Up until this point, you've been on a number of teams so far. You've been in the Pro League for a couple seasons. You've qualified in to the Pro League now. Up until this point, you've been on many different teams. What have you really learned about yourself now? And how do you think you've like really changed from when you first started competing all the way up until now, Season 5 Pro League?
I was a people pleaser, and I would never really say when I needed stuff done. I'd try and handle it myself instead of just putting my foot down and telling people what to do or what I would want that would help me. I think later on, I changed that and started playing or acting different in a way that would benefit me and how I knew how I wanted to play the game. Like, especially, actually, I can talk about it later because I'll be talking about the Hounds at that point. But I would very much be like, yeah, don't worry, guys, they're invading my blue again. It's fine, I'll handle it. Don't worry, guys, I'll play the losing matchup. Yeah, no, guys, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm 0-8. I got late game. It's fine, guys, don't even stress about it. Which isn't my team's fault. That was entirely on me. But as the years went on, I started to put my foot down more and like, no, I don't think that character's good. I'm going to get blasted on solo side. And you're also going to lose pressure duo, so we're going to get farmed on both side lanes. We're going to have nowhere to play through. And then we're going to slowly bleed out. So I changed how I picked, how I called my jungler over, and I think that benefited me a lot.
So essentially, like, you started to just become more knowledgeable about the game, and that enabled you to sort of like make better decisions when it came to picks and bans as well. And I mean, not saying that you didn't have knowledge prior to that, but you did, and then, you know, you just, like you said, you were a people pleaser, so you would just tell people, like, sure, like, I'll play this matchup even though it wasn't good. Did they, like, ever blame you as well? Like, if you were down, like, a few levels, like, you know, why didn't you tell us this was this bad of a matchup, all that kind of stuff?
No. My team, like I said, my teams were all absolutely lovely. I have no bad words to say about any of my teams. I never got blamed for anything. But it was always like, how could I say it? Like, it sucks when you see a different team pick the same matchups, and then they're doing, like, flawlessly, and then I do it, and I got farmed. And I either just didn't play the characters well, I either didn't ask for the correct jungle rotation, or ask for the help when I needed it. And because of that, it was like, damn, what are we doing wrong, guys? Why are we losing the matchups that we get absolutely farmed in? What is the issue here? And I think it was more so I just wasn't comfortable on those picks. It just wasn't my playstyle. Like the Sobek, the RTOs, the all of the Guardian characters, or the characters where you have to like lose early and can't secure your blues, I was really bad at.
Really? And why do you think that was?
I just don't enjoy characters that can't clear well. I don't like characters that have to fight in lane. I would much rather... I'd much rather play super aggressive characters, like Osiris. But that was primarily Season 5 to 7, when the jungler wouldn't gank early as much. I think if the jungler ganks early, I didn't want to pick the aggressive characters, because if you die level 2, you are screwed for the rest of the game. You just lose. And then, as it went on, I really liked characters like Amma, Wukong, Vimana, Thor, because they're all super safe and you just proxy farm. And I really enjoyed out farming and out securing the enemy. And that's how I enjoyed playing.
So that must have been tough when like certain metas called for certain characters like Artio and all those characters that you just hated playing because you're like, I have to play this because she's just so good, or we have to like waste a ban on it.
Yeah.
Going back to your Duel days, I feel like Duel kind of helps you out with that as well. Like adopt that mentality of like what you were saying, how you would sort of blame yourself for the matchup, especially if you played it poorly, right? Like, why are these other teams playing this matchup correctly, but we're not? And then you're kind of like blaming yourself, and that kind of goes back to that Duel mentality. In fact, is is that the reason why you played solo lane in the first place? Like because you played duel and it felt like the most duelist role?
Yeah. I enjoyed the 1v1 aspect, and I liked, having just that 1v1 matchup. I thought it was the most fun.
Yeah, definitely. Until the jungler ganks.
Yeah, until the jungler showed up. And I was like, oh, no. But I also like tanky frontline characters. I've never been a backline caster. Even when I played MMOs, I would always be like a tanky individual. So those are the roles I kind of went towards.
Because you like that aggressiveness, that aggressive style?
Yep, I like the aggressiveness. I like being in people's faces. I like CCing or like peeling. I think that's more fun, and that like stimulated me more when I was playing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the jungler's diving. Oh, he's just been peeled. Oh, you've been owned. You can't play the game. That's why I play Nox a lot. Like, oh, you can't play the game. Oh, unlucky. Oh, isn't that annoying?
That was like 50% of the characters in Smite. Like, you can't play the game.
Yeah, you can't play the game anymore, guys.
Yeah. That's actually why I like solo lane. I was Snatty ever listens to this, he'll get mad. I would play whenever I would load up against Snatty, I would just play ESET support, and like he just wouldn't be able to play the game. And then he would just start banning ESET whenever I was in the lobby.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. That character is so frustrating in support.
Yep. So up until this point, so we've had a couple of achievements so far, right? Like we said, season 3, the first time being in Pro League. Season 4, like qualifying into the Pro League. So now season 5, another achievement is that this is going to be your first time competing at the world stage. Oh, hold on, you're giving me like a little surprise. Did you compete prior to that? Or?
The only time I played at Worlds, like on the world stage, was when I played Divine Knockout against Byakai.
Oh, really?
I have never played Smite besides the season 11 show match on the world stage.
Smite on the world stage.
I have never played like an actual competitive game on the world stage.
That's actually some crazy lore. Hold on, let me go to this 2018 real quick, because it says like Smite World Championship 2019. You guys got 13th. So probably this was like a qualifier leading into.
Yeah, that would have been like in the studio.
In the studio. But I guess like I can still kind of ask this question. So now you're actually still like, this is your first time I think playing for a qualifier for the Pro League, like that officially bleeds into the Pro League, or not the Pro League, sorry, the World Championship.
The world stage, yeah.
So like, are you like getting super hyped up about this? Like, how are you feeling about that? Is like your first time.
I was so excited. We were like so prepped and ready to go into it as well. From what I remember, our scrims were surprisingly good, which is usually like never a good thing. But no, our scrims were going well, and we're like, damn, okay, here we go, boys. We're gonna go in, and then I forgot how the games went. I don't know. I don't remember exactly who we played. But I know it didn't go too well. It sucks when you go to those lands because you fly out, and then if you get like taken out on the first day, you're like, damn, I'm just gonna sit here for 4 days just wallowing in like sadness. I prepped for this, and now I'm just sat in the hotel. But we were thoroughly excited, and it sucked that we didn't get to make it in.
That's when you go bowling with the boys, like right afterwards, you know.
Korean barbecue, bowling.
Yeah. Just don't go with Zen. That guy will kick your ass. He may be even more mad after we lost. I was like, all right, man.
like he's that good at bowling?
Oh, dude, Zen's good at like everything. Like the foosball or the ping pong shit in the studio. Like he was just kicking everybody's ass. We go bowling, he's kicking everybody's ass. I'm like, all right, man. Okay, so that's interesting though. So you said, going back to what you said about the world stage, you said you've played at one world stage, or like
So I've played Divine Knockout on the world stage, and I have played the season 11 show match on the world stage. That is it. Because I played with Nika, Neilmar. That might have been like a cheeky little foreshadowing me and Neil playing together. I had Wraithen on my team, God forbid. And then I forgot who we had as jungle, but oh no, it was Wraithen Yanis jungle or Yanis mid. It was something crazy. But yeah, I played then, and I played Divine Knockout, which I also lost. So The only 2 times I've played in the world stage was those show matches.
Interesting. That is very interesting. All right, so now I want to transition to fast forward to season 6, 2019. And now this is like a big transition, not just for you, but also for like the league in general, right? Because now this is where Hi-Rez is like, okay, there's no more EU. We're going to fly everybody out to, we're going to fly everybody out over to Georgia, but we're going to force them to stay. We're going to like shackle you guys down and make you play out in Georgia. Because there's not going to be any more separate regions. So how do you feel about like this transition? Like, do you feel good about it? Did you like the transition?
So, me personally, I liked the transition just because there wasn't really much to do where I lived. It's a very, like,
remote area.
Yeah, very remote area. There's just not a lot going on. So, having the opportunity to go elsewhere and live there, paid for, was like, hey, say less, man. Get me out there. But I think it kind of made it so there was less of interest from EU to try and like improve competition because they just wouldn't have that opportunity to play, which I completely understand, I completely get. And a lot of people didn't want to move or didn't want to move away from home or family, friends, dogs, you know, they can't. So I get that. But for me, I really liked it. And I really liked the opportunity to play over there. I just wish that they did more with the content side of things or getting the players in while they were over there. So I think like they could have done a lot more with it, considering they had everyone so close to the studio. That was my only gripe with it because I think I was only brought in a couple times a year and that was it.
So, and you mean like more like team-based? Because I mean, I remember they did do like interviews with you guys, you know, talking about like some fun stuff, right? Talking about some silly things, but you just kind of wish there was like more of that going on.
Yeah, I think if you're moving everyone to the States, I think you can do a lot more content-wise, or like a lot more building team brands. However, I do get like Hi-Rez's position in that regard because I know a lot of the players just didn't like being on camera or didn't want to do it or just wouldn't show up. So I completely get that.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen more.
Was there anything like specific content-wise that you would have sort of like liked to do, like to be in?
That's hard for me to say as like someone who is, you know, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm super creative, but like even just having the players in to do like one voice line or have them in to do like stupid I mean they tried to make more game shows and they did really well with that, the YouTube shorts. Or God, I'm trying to think now. You got me stumped for ideas. To be fair, this is probably how they felt now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe I was too harsh on them. Never mind.
Yeah, they're like, Ducky now knows how we feel years later.
Yeah, it's like, damn, the tables have turned. You can't think of the content ideas.
No, I get that, though. Yeah, you just kind of wanted there to just be more stuff going on. The more activities, that kind of stuff. So how did this sort of like merging of the Pro League influence the teams that you were on? Because, you know, before you had EU and then NA separate regions, but now that you guys are all in one area, now you guys can start sort of mixing the pot a little bit. You can get some NA players mixed with some EU players. And I believe, you know, you were on a few, I think there were some NA players on your team when this happened as well, right?
I had Sino, Wowie, and Inbound.
Yeah. So, like, do you think, like, that obviously gave you more opportunity to team with different players. So do you think that was also, like, a good aspect of merging with the Pro League?
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea. It allowed us to mix and match the teams a bit. Again, it was still kind of the same players, but they were just on different teams. That makes sense?
Yeah.
But I think it was a nice opportunity for different play styles to merge. I know NA was a lot more, I want to say passive. I think you guys were more passive. Or maybe EU was... No, EU was very aggressive, right? No.
I think it's the opposite.
Am I mixing it up?
Am I mixing it up now? I swear. Okay, no. I have to say this now that you just brought that up. Every single game I have seen / played competitively, and I've played like 4 or 5 games competitively, EU is always more passive than NA. In some games it works. Like some games you guys are just way better, or a lot of games. But like NA just always has like more aggression for some odd reason. Even in the challenger circuit. I know like EU challenger circuit teams were better than NA, you know, when they flew them out to land and stuff like that. Duck is nodding his head like, damn right we were. But but like NA like was always more aggressive, and I've noticed this in like so many different games. It's like not even funny at this point. I don't even know why. Like I don't know why that's a thing. But
I think we just got in the habit of like trying to macro the game better instead of fighting. I think a lot of people realize like, damn, fighting is not worth it. Let's just get this buff and walk away every single time.
But like, doesn't fighting set you up to get the buff in the first place if you win the fight?
It depends what you're going for. Like, a lot of the time, if you're fighting, you have the risk of dying. You don't even need to kill them. You poke them out. Oh, we get the buff for free. Oh, you're on time for the buff. You get it for free. Their mid laner's coming. All right, buff, run away. You know, you don't have to risk it. I think that was the biggest point, because a lot of the time, you don't know where the mid, you don't know where the jungler is. Could be walking over. Oh, we don't even get the buff. Oh, they've rotated. Now we can do something on that side of the map, you know? You just try and avoid the fight and take the wins. That's how we tried to play.
Yeah, and I actually think that's a really important concept that, at the very least, like pro league level teams understood that other people or other teams didn't, was that, like you said, maybe don't take the fight, but if you do take the fight, fight for a reason. Don't just fight to fight, right? Poke the person out. You don't have to kill them. Get the buff. Now you've already gained something that they don't. And it's like a 2x thing too, right? Because you get the buff, they don't. So it's like a double whammy. You know, speaking of that too, what do you think kind of separated the pro teams from the challenger circuit teams in terms of like the skill?
I think it was the macro play a lot of the time.
It was the macro play?
Especially team... I'm going to use Genetics as an example. Hopefully it doesn't go to his head. But you watch that guy play, like Gold Fury spawns, that shit's already done. Like his team's already on it on spawn, or when Obelisk was a thing, you know, you'd see him straight at the Obelisk just being a menace to the enemy jungler. It's not even having to kill him, it's just having the risk of this Yamoja stealing your back camp because he's just stood there watching you do it. It's so frustrating to play against, and I don't think people had timers or had the initiative to try and do stuff like that when starting out. Obviously, people got better as you watch, but I think the people who try and do that first were the ones that stick out a lot, and then everyone else would like kind of copy or follow. And I think that was the main barrier. It's that the SML or the Challenger Cup just didn't have access to that information. But SPL players would have, because you'd scrim teams like that and then you'd copy them. And then it would like slowly trickle down the ladder. So I think if they had the opportunity to scrim SPL teams and maybe learn that faster, like learn the meta faster, learn these, learn that tech quicker, I think they would have improved a lot. But the SPL teams just didn't want to scrim challenger teams because you wouldn't really get a benefit, is how we saw it at the time.
Right. Yeah, it kind of goes back to also picking up, you know, not really picking up players outside of the SPL. It's like you want teams that already have experience that you're going to play against. Maybe you would probably scrim like the number one. Probably when you were on Hounds, you guys were probably scrimming SPL teams, right?
Yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so like, do you think the skill level, at least from like the individual players, kind of matched that? Maybe we're a little bit worse, but sort of matched that of like professional players? Do you think it was mostly just the macro, like you were talking about, that separated the two?
Yeah, I think it was the macro and the knowledge. I think a lot of the time when you say skill level, I'm usually thinking mechanics.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to add, like mechanical skill.
Yeah, and I think most people's mechanics were roughly the same. I mean, you had a lot of standout people, like Sot on Ula, you know, Pegon as an example, Benny on Ra. You know, you had a ton of, or Johnny on Loki. You had a ton of like standout people mechanically gifted on characters. But I think what really held people back was just the knowledge. And when the meta shifts, it's knowing the meta fast enough, knowing which characters are good fast enough, and then utilizing that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so kind of going, I know we took a little bit of a tangent, kind of going back to Season 6 of the Pro League, just to kind of wrap this season up. I just wanted to ask you, did you ever, actually, and this kind of applies for all Pro Leagues now that I think about it, Did you ever get homesick? I know you said initially that, you really liked actually going out there to get out of this remote area that you lived in, but did you ever like get homesick or feel homesick at all?
Every now and then, but I was very fortunate to have a good group of friends and what I would consider a second family over there, with like Rayfin and like Bobby, and there's a ton more people out there. I'm probably forgetting the names, but I had such like a friendly environment to live in, and I'd get invited for like Christmas, I'd get invited for Thanksgiving, so I'm very grateful for that, which helped a lot with the homesickness. The worst part was like coming home and my dog's just got like, gray spots on her nose. I'm like, oh man, like I've missed like a full year of my dog's life, which kind of stunk, but I think it was good to be able to go out there and like mesh with a different culture and different perspective on things. So I'm happy I got that opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So now I want to transition to season 9 of looks like season 9, you were in the challenger circuit, I believe. And this is when you start. Yeah, this is like when you and Hounds form. And I do want to kind of get into the Hounds because this is a really goated team. But before we do that, one thing I want to ask, and I just want to ask this, don't take this to heart. But in the Pro League, yeah, you're looking at me like, oh, what's he gonna ask?
Yeah.
You were on a lot of low placing teams, and I wanted to ask why you thought that was. Like, why do you think that on most of the teams that you're on, they were all just sort of like low placing at the bottom of the league? Do you think that there was something inherently wrong maybe with some of the teams that you were on that were like consistent time and time again? Or do you think that you yourself just weren't as good of a player as you wanted to be, or as good of a soul laner as like others were?
I don't think I was a good player.
Really?
In a lot of those teams, those players, in their own like retrospective, I think is the correct word. Probably used that wrong, but in their own like terms, they had previous teams. They were like very high up. They did really well. They had really good showings. But I was a consistent variable on a lot of the bottom teams, and you cannot sit there and be like, oh, he wasn't the problem. Oh, just get him a good team. And again, I appreciate a lot of people that would say that and like stick up for me, and I'm thankful. But a lot of the time, I was just bad. I would play fights bad. I would give up my lane. I would give the jungler a lead because I would never have solo prio, so all the enemy team had to do was play around the blue side of the map, and they'd just get a lead. And then if my duo lost, we'd just lose the game. So I think a lot of it was on me. Not all of it, but a lot of it was on me and how I played. But as the years, like I said, as the years went on, I started to change my playstyle a bit and play differently. I think that helped a lot. And I got more confident. And I think that showed when I was on the Hounds. I think my best ever like LAN performance was the Hounds LAN qualifying for SPL. I think that was like the best time I've played Smite. And I think that was like a confidence thing because I took a year off. I didn't play comp, and then Hounds asked me, "Yo, would you like to play for us?" And I was I playing on ping at that point? No, I wasn't playing on ping. I was in NA still. So I played for the Hounds. Like, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't expect anything to come of it. I was just like, yeah, I miss playing comp. I'll play a bit of comp. Why not? And that confidence and that year off, I think, really helped.
So you think the thing that primarily separated you from other soul laners that you thought were better than you was confidence? Was it like knowledge or like mechanical skill? How do you think you compared mechanically to them?
Depending on the character, I think I was really good. But again, I was just picking characters because they were good in the meta instead of characters that I thought was good. Or like copying players' builds because they did it. I'm like, oh, they're higher up in the league. They're probably better than me. I'll copy what they're doing. Instead of having that initiative and that confidence in myself to, yo, I think this might be better. I'm going to try this. Or, yo, I think this might be good. I'm going to try that. And then, like I said, with the Hounds LAN, we did the Sigil Vimana.
I know, because I got stopped by that.
Yeah, the Sigil Golden Blade Vimana. And we just, I was like, guys, let me get to level 20, we'll win the game. We get to level 20, we win the game. And that's how I played the game. And I really enjoyed that. But I don't think a lot of people were doing that beforehand that I know of. And that was mainly because SPL wasn't on at the time, and the meta just changed, so people were still figuring it out, if I'm right. Like, right before that LAN, the meta changed?
No, you are right, because that's what happens, like, every single LAN, the meta changes, and people have to figure it out.
So I think we were, like, some of the first to, like, lock in or really, like, find something that was annoying to deal with. And that was one of the first times I took the initiative and tried new stuff instead of sticking to other things. That's because I thought I was really good. We were, like, first place. We were stomping a lot of people, and I was like, damn, I feel like I'm good at the game at the moment. I'm going to try this. Yeah, I think being... Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go for it.
No, you're good. I think being, like, 8th place for a long time really dampened my confidence. So, yeah, the Hounds helped a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask you. I mean, I was just going to add in real quick. I remember, like, you were playing Vamana. We were at, like, one of the play-ins lands. Yeah, we were at the play-ins lands. We played you guys first. You were playing Vamana. We didn't realize it was meta at the time. And so all I remember is, like, you guys are on Fire Giant. I'm like, all right, like, we got to go defend this. Let's go. And I turn around, and there's, like, an alting Vamana, a.k.a. Ducky, you're taking on Zen, Nehu, I think, and I think you're also taking on, like, Dame all at once. And I'm just like, and we still couldn't kill you. I'm pretty sure, like, you wiped 2 of us and we had to run. And I'm just like, all right, bro, like, we lost this game. Like, no, it's over.
Yeah, that's because Sigil was so busted, and I think that was right when the Vamana ult change came in, when he had a shield. And you just build Thorns, and you would just hastened Vamana, just fucking Goomba stomping everybody.
Dude, this guy took it figuratively and literally. Like, you're like, yeah, we're stomping everybody in the league. Plays Vamana, starts stomping physically now. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's it's funny that you kind of brought that up, because that's one thing I wanted to ask you. You know, was there, like, did you really feel something when you're placing last place in Pro League a lot of the time, and now all of a sudden you're in Challenger Circuit, but now you're on the flip end of that. Now you're first place, like, eons above everybody else in terms of, for your team in terms of skill and stuff like that. So, like, that, as you said, that gave you a really big confidence boost? Like, that felt really good?
Yeah, when I was playing, there was so many years where I just wanted to quit. I was so fed up with playing, because I would, like... As much as it's, like, bad to say, I'd look at Reddit, I'd look at, like,
yeah,
you know, the comments, like, that shit got to me a lot, because, you know, when you're 8th place for so long, it's like, how many times can you use the excuse that, you know, it's a team diff, you know, you can't keep using the excuse, so it did get to me, and a lot of times I was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with it, I'd rather do something else. And then I played on Valks, and I was like, yes, I was really excited, I got a really good team. Stuck in EU for a year.
Yeah.
Playing on ping, and, like, we had no choice. We just had to stick it out. And then you got comments on Reddit like, bro, how long can they use ping as an excuse? Like, brother, it doesn't go away. What do you mean? Like,
dude,
so,
I saw Rafford literally. I'm gonna blame, like, the interrupting on the time delay, because we're like 5 hours apart. Dude, I saw Rafford literally lagging during, like, a World's Championship qualifier match that you guys were playing on ping. Rafford just starts going, like, he was like a slideshow, I swear. Dun, 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 like, he's just skipping across like a slideshow. I knew it was shocked. I was laughing so hard, I knew it was shocked.
Right, it was so... We had so much confidence going into that year, and it just slowly trickled. That's why I took a year off, because I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm just not... I thought this was going to be the one, and it's just not working. And then I joined the Hounds because Oath and Benny were asking me, and it was nice to, like, feel like, okay, I'm doing well, I'm doing good, I'm actually good at the game, I'm finally figuring it out, and I think that was a big change that I needed. I think I needed that 1 year off to kind of relax a bit, because it was just getting to me.
Absolutely, everybody needs a break. And so, you don't think that like, technically, since the Challenger Circuit was a lower level league compared to the Pro League, that didn't really bother you at all? Because you're in the Pro League for so long? Like, you start playing, you're dominating these people. Technically, they're, team-wise at least, I mean, individually, I think, you know, a lot of them were obviously very good. But team-wise, at least, they're not as good as SPL teams. But you never thought about it like that?
No, I never thought about it. I was just like, yo, I'll play with these guys. I'll see if I have fun. And I'll do that for now. Because at the time, I think I was just streaming. But I think the big difference was maybe because I was in the SPL for so long that when I was playing against these Challenger Cup teams, I would show a lot less respect. Not in like a disrespectful kind of way, but when I was playing against other players I would look up to, like in the league, I would change. You have an option in Smite to have game name or IGN name. I would always put or game name or IGN, God name or their IGN. I would always have it as God name, because sometimes when I saw the player names, I would play differently, just depending on who I'm against. Because I'm like, oh, they're really good. I've got to be careful. And I think that was a really bad mindset to have. So in the nicest way, I didn't know these Challenger Cup players. I didn't know these NA players. So playing against them, I was just playing against people I didn't know. So I didn't have that same respect or caution playing against them. So I could play a lot more freely and a lot more aggressively. And I think as I kept doing that over the year, it just kind of got consistent in doing that. Which helps change my playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know a lot of players that did that. I didn't do that because I was creating content, and I was like, yo, I have to have these names on, so, you know, I can farm and be like, yo, farming like Benny in the mid lane, making some YouTube videos on that. But no, I mean, I think a lot of players did exactly what you just said. Maybe it was also, too, on the flip end of things. So you're kind of doing it, you know, not to be disrespectful to the players, but people were doing it because maybe they got nervous, right? That they were against a Pro League level team, and they're just like, yo, like, let me just have the actual character name on instead of their name, so I don't really recognize that while I'm playing. So yeah, no, that's a really good point. Okay, so now, like, kind of fast forwarding a little bit through season 9, now we go to season 10. And we obviously talked about a little bit Sigil Vamana, you guys stomping us literally, and, you know, beating us. But now, like, you qualify into the Pro League because season 9 you were playing with the Hounds, but you're in Challenger Circuit. Now season 10 you qualify into the Pro League, and it's not even close. I mean, maybe I forgot what what's his face, what their team was. It was other Pro League members that you guys played in the finals. It was Aqua solo and all them.
Oh yeah, the Alquang solo. Yeah.
No, not Alquang. Aqua.
Yeah, no, but he played Alquang.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He played out because I was playing Herc.
Yeah. So, like, that was probably the only team that could kind of contend with you guys. But even in the finals, I believe, if memory serves correct, you guys 3-1 them. And so, like, you guys kind of just stomped everybody. Was that sort of the best feeling that you've had in Smite, like, ever, I guess, throughout your entire history of playing Smite? Was that the best right there, like qualifying the Pro League, but qualifying as like the absolute dominant team?
But yeah, no, that was up there, especially after. I think I don't think I mentioned this. The year before, when I did the Valkyrie, right after the Valkyrie, I had a team with Horrorwind and Moswell to try and qualify for SPL, and we lost. And I was devastated because at that point it was like, damn, my visa's gonna run out. Just lost my job, didn't qualify, have to move home. Thankfully, Hi-Rez were kind enough to help me out a ton, so thank you to them. But like that's why I took the year off, because we tried to qualify and we got farmed. So I was like rock bottom in terms of that career, and then having like worked our way back up, then had such a dominant run, it was very euphoric. Feeling. It was like, damn, okay, I am good enough. I do belong here. It wasn't for nothing, because I didn't really want to have a career. I say that, I've never played at Worlds, but I didn't want to have a career where I was just 8th place for 10 years in a row, because for me, I didn't want something like that, because I wasn't proud of it. So to win in such a dominant fashion and have such a good set of games, even if we'd have lost, I would have been happy with how I played. And I think that was like something different than what I was used to. Because other times I'd lose and like, damn, it's my fault. Damn, I didn't play well. But this time I was like, I played so damn good, it didn't matter if we won or lost, because I was proud of myself.
You know what I call those? I call those personal dubs. That's like the best feeling to have. And it's like, sometimes I would have like a counter on my stream and be like, all right, I'm down 1-4, but I'd also have another counter, personal dubs, 4-1 or something like that. No, I completely get that. I feel like that it's like self-driving, and that's what matters to you the most, right? Maybe to other people when they're looking at you, that's not what matters to them, but obviously, like, who the fuck cares what they think, right? It's all about like what you think about yourself, and even if you're not winning, if you're performing up to the standards that you want to perform up to, then I mean, it's going to feel great.
Yeah.
And also,
no, go on. I was
also
time diff.
No, yeah, facts. Ping diff.
Ping diff.
And I was gonna say, like, shout out to Irez too for actually helping you out there, because like you said, you're at rock bottom. Good thing about rock bottom though, can only go up. There you go.
Yeah. No, they were honestly wonderful. They were so helpful, and I'm so thankful to them.
So, this is like 2023, by the way, when you're like qualifying in the Pro League, I believe, and you guys, there's like a really big Smite Land event that happens in the summer, the 2023 Summer Masters event, and you guys, like, this is probably one of the biggest events Hi-Rez has hosted outside of like Worlds, and you guys actually end up placing third. Which at this point, I mean, that's a really good placing, and I think at this point it's like just your highest placing for a tournament ever. Can you kind of like, maybe memory is, you know, not as cloudy right now, could you kind of like walk me through sort of what was going on, and, you know, obviously like how placing third, how that like made you feel at now a major tournament?
Yeah, no, we were happy with our performance, but we really wanted like first or second. We were so confident coming into this, where we thought we would do so well. I'm trying to remember, did we have to go through losers bracket, or we won against Ferrymen, and then we lost to Jade Dragons. Sorry, I'm going through the wiki now just to try and see if memory.
No, you're good. No worries. I'm kind of doing it too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you guys were part of the main bracket. You guys beat the Wargs 2-1. Then you guys 2-0'd the Ravens, which obviously that's like Ven and everybody. Like, that's a good team. And then you guys lost 2-3 to the Ferrymen. But, like, thinking about how good the Ferrymen were, like, that's still insane to... Like, that was a close set, right? 2-3 is a very close set.
I hated those Ferrymen games. It was... What kept happening, it was... I'm pretty sure it was the Naja. It was Sino Naja, and he just kept ulting me, and I'd get Vulcan ulted on landing every single time, and I'd just get blown up, and I was getting so frustrated with it. Or, I don't know if this was the LAN where Ravana was good. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. I either played Thor or Ravana a lot. But I remember those games being close, and it came down to Fire Giants every single time, and we were so frustrated with it, because we won the... I don't know if we won the first game, or we won the second game. But, oh, that was so close, because if we'd have beat them, I was so confident in us to come first or second.
Well, yeah, no,
so confident.
I think you guys would have won the tournament if you beat them. I mean, because they were considered the absolute best team at the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, like, because that was kind of like the superstar team, right? And I mean, they end up winning 3-0 in the finals, anyways. To who was it? Wait, was it 3-0 in the final? Yeah, to Oni Warriors. Oh yeah, Oni Warriors was the other team that was like considered the best team. So, but yeah, no, that I think if you guys won that, because like you guys literally they did not drop a game besides to you guys, and they dropped 2 games to you guys. So that's insane. But then you guys, you know, you guys played for the third place match, and you guys 2-0'd the Dragons. Like, what do you think kind of clicked with you guys that event, or even like that meta? Like, what was happening with the Hounds to be such a great flipping team?
So we had Coast, and Coast loves playing around his lane. He loves playing aggressive, and I love not doing that. Like, I'm happy to farm. I'm like, yo, guys, I don't invade this blue. Do not give him a kill. I'm so far ahead. Let me power farm. It's fine. So having a dynamic where we're constantly playing around duo, and I'm just allowed to free roam, worked so well for us, especially in that meta. It was like so convenient, because I could proxy, oh, the jungler's over in my side of the map, do gold. We have duo pressure, do gold every single time. Which worked like, it was like clockwork. And I think that's what made us do really well, because we had such a good group of people. Benny as well was just so confident in mid. He was always like on point. I don't think he ever had a bad game that I don't think he ever had a lot of bad games. And then we had Chuck like leading us in the right direction. It was just, honestly, it was just such a great group of people to work with, and I think they all worked super well together, especially Oath. Oath shined a lot when he played hyper carries. And again, he just played red duo lane. Get Coast ahead. Play with Coast, and you'll be fine. So yeah, I think that's why we did so well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like considered Oath to have like a really bad attitude. And I kind of felt like he did, at least in ranked. But the thing about Oath was that I thought he was like one of the best junglers in the game. And he kind of like played jungle perfectly. And I would actually say this like a lot on stream. I said, like, if you want to learn how to play jungle, kind of copy what Oath's doing, because he played very selfish. From like how I could see, like he would go, do camps and stuff like that, and then he would always sort of like wait for the team fight to develop, and then say like, okay, I can go in, get the cleanups, get like a triple kill here, or like, no, it's a wash, I'm gonna go do something else, right? Like do some more farm, try to get ahead, that kind of stuff. And so I feel like that level of sort of like analysis in the jungle allowed him to have like one of the most like perfect jungle play styles. Like I would tell people, this is literally how you should be jungling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, no, yeah. Oath to me struck me as like an NA adapting, because Kenneth would do the same thing. He'd usually wait for the fight to start and then hop in, and that worked well because Quig was really good at engaging. Quig was like such a good shot caller when he was playing, and so Quig would go in or I would go in, and with the current meta, we just wouldn't die, and it set up so well for Oath to just clean up. And you said like you maybe had a bad attitude in ranked. He just needs to take his keyboard away. He types a little bit too much, bless him. But he's such a good player, and I was so happy I got the team with him. Yeah,
I mean, we called it the shit, dude. Maybe I know a lot of people called it that, but the Quig Oath like death Q or like Deathball. Yeah, like, do you think that's what sort of like separated that team from other teams you've been on as well? Was just like, obviously, all the teams that you've been on, you've had really good players, but what made this team flow so well? Was it the jungle support sort of like cohesiveness?
I think having a designated shot caller like Quig helped a ton. And then we had Neil later on. He did the exact same thing. It's good to have a support that just yaps and knows what they're doing. And then you had, again, Coast, always played aggressive, always wanted to play in duo. So having someone who shot calls really well, and then having the aggressive player play with the shot caller, very easy to do, because I wouldn't shot call too much. I'm just in that back line being a menace like that. That's all. Always like, guys, I'm gonna wall here, play off the wall. I'm stunning. Okay, he's stunned. That's all I would do. But with Oath and Quig, the duo queue, I think them just playing so much together, they understood what each other wanted. So it was easy to play around during games, where they wouldn't have to talk too much. Because Oath wasn't really a big shot caller unless he was like going in like 11-1. Kind of scoreline. So I think that worked well together, and then having like a connection outside of scrims benefited them a lot.
Yeah, I was always surprised that Quig never got picked up to be in the Pro League like prior to that. I don't know if that was like his own decision to not do that, but like I thought, and a lot of other people thought, we're like, okay, Quig's like he's just the best support in Challenger circuit, and I was like, he's probably better than like half the supports in Pro League as well. So I was always surprised he never got picked up onto a Pro League team prior to Season 10. I think that
has a lot to do with connections. It's easy. I think I mentioned earlier, like, mechanic-wise, everyone was somewhat the same.
Yeah.
It was just, like, shot calling, macro play, and it's hard to judge that without playing with them for a long time. You could have one scrim and they do it perfectly, and next scrim they could be silent. You never know. So it was kind of hard to justify picking someone up over someone you don't know.
Very true, very true. Do you think that at this event, the Midsummer Masters event, do you think this was the absolute best that you've played? At the very least in like a major tournament?
The qualifying LAN.
The qualifying LAN was the best? No.
I think I'm trying to think. So the Midsummer LAN, I played really well. There was the Ferryman game, I could have played better, in my opinion, if I'm remembering right. But yeah, no, I was playing really well. There was another one. We played against Camelot Kings. I'm trying to remember or was this the one where we played against Camelot Kings first?
No, so this is you guys don't play against Kings at all. You guys play against wargs, ravens, ferrymen, and then dragons.
Okay. Now this LAN I played really, really well, but it wasn't super memorable for me that I can think of. but I think the later lands where I played Thor, I remember it vividly because we went into our game and I was like, guys, I'm gonna solo Harry, second wave. He's getting soloed second wave. We can play off me, and he was playing Ratatasker, and I was playing Thor, and I think I soloed him twice in 3 minutes when he came into lane, and I think that was like the most confident I've been going into a LAN, and I was happy with that. A lot of the games where I played, the mana wasn't as good, but Herc and Thor, any of those games, I was really happy with.
Yeah, no, I feel like kind of like breaking down sort of your history in the Pro League. I feel like that is, it's really cool to look back on all of that stuff and, you know, kind of like look at the ups and even look at the downs too, right? Because now so much time has passed, the downs don't feel as bad.
Oh, the downs are definitely there though. God,
yeah,
they're
there. But it's like you know that there's like a sense of relief because like, all right, I already got past the downs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's sort of like a story there, like a story of self progression, just kind of looking at your initial time being in the Pro League to the end, because ultimately, I don't think you guys ended up placing too well towards the end of Pro League, but ultimately, I think that you were just on the best team that you had ever been on at the very end, right? Like, would you say that the Hounds was just the best team that you were ever on?
I believe so. Not in like terms of like people. I think it's just the best I've ever performed and the best people I've performed with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say yeah.
You know, speaking of people, who was like, yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Who is like your absolute favorite person to team with? Doesn't mean everybody else was. Yeah, it doesn't mean everybody else was bad. Just like your absolute favorite person to team with.
I think it would be Fumble.
Fumble.
Yeah, I think it would be Fumble.
Why is that? Was he just like a funny dude?
He's so fun to hang around with. He's so like lovely, and like I said, he was one of the people that got me out of my shell initially. And we went on a little holiday to Tunisia. It was me, Fumble, Lobster, Fails, Slainy, and Variety. And that's a very memorable moment for me. So, yeah, I'd pick that guy. A lot of good memories.
Do you think he's also the player that kind of pushed you the most in terms of a teammate, or would that award go to somebody else?
I think he told me to be more like confident in myself and more direct if I don't want to play things and speak up more. So I think he helped push me in that direction. Same with Lobster. And then over the years, I slowly got better at it.
You know, we talked about you kind of obviously not playing Smite for a year and all that kind of stuff. But whenever you lost, did you have some sort of self-motivation to want to improve, to want to get better? Like, was it more of a motivation than, say, like winning? If that makes sense. Like, hopefully I put that correctly. But like for me, when I lose, okay, here's a good example. When I was in Rainbow Six Siege Pro League, right? Mm-hmm. We went to Worlds in Poland, and so we went to Poland and we got smoked. Oh, don't worry though, we lost to the team that won it, so it made me feel better. Yeah, it's good. So I'm on my plane flight back, and when I get back, the first thing I do, because like I just want to play. I want to play. First thing I do is I go to Best Buy to get an Elite controller because I want to start drop shotting and stuff like that, improve my mechanics. So like me losing at Worlds there, like it kind of triggered this sense of like improvement in myself. Like I really want to play, I really want to get better. I remember I was like DMing my team and I was like, yo guys, like we got to start playing immediately. I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to play. I feel like that wouldn't be there if we had won the Worlds land. I feel like I've been like, cool, we won. Let me just take like a 1 month vacation, all that kind of stuff. Did you ever sort of feel that whenever like you were losing games? Like, did you have a greater motivation to want to play, to want to get better, to want to improve versus like when you were winning, or was it sort of like a neutral effect to you?
So surprisingly for me, I think it'd be the opposite. I think losing became so normalized for me because of how often I wouldn't do well, or I was just so used to being 8th place or 8th seed that losing just became the norm, and I was like, damn, what do I do? But then as soon as I started to see improvement when I changed things and I started to win and like do really well, I would like get in the Uber on the way back instantly. Games are up on my phone. I'm watching it back. I'm like, okay, what could I have done differently here? What could I have done that? And I think winning helped me be like, damn, I could be so good at this game if I just kept going and I kept like improving on what I'm currently doing. So I think that was the changer for me. But again, that's because I lost so much that losing was just normal. And I was just so used to it that I didn't know what to change.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So like the normalization of that, just it was a constant. So like you're just like, I don't know how to change this constant, so I'm just gonna kind of keep doing what I'm doing in a sense.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I want to lose, but it was
Right.
like, damn, like what else can I improve on? I'm slamming the game. I'm like picking all the good picks. I'm picking all of that, and then it became like, oh okay, I'll just pick what I enjoy, what I'm like good at, what I want to play. Oh, I'm starting to get better, and as soon as I started to see improvement, I started to see wins. I was like, damn, I'm doing really well in scrims. I got so addicted to wanting to improve on those specific things that I finally found something I could get better at, and I think that's when I really started to improve.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. The dopamine started hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to kind of talk a little bit about. I'm gonna call it the death of Smite.
Yeah. No, valid.
How did you feel when Hi-Rez first announced the release of Smite 2? Like, what was your initial reaction? Like, did you have sort of a hope for the Pro League, or were you just kind of like, I don't know if this is gonna go too well?
I mean, I was devastated. We found out like 6 months prior to them, obviously, telling them because it's our livelihood. I didn't think it was a great idea. I thought it was rushed. Granted, they had their own reasons, obviously. And then I didn't think there would be a Pro League. I think I messaged Bobby as soon as it got released that I think they'll just do one LAN and then can it.
Really?
That's what I sent him in like June, July of that year. I was like, I see them doing one LAN just to keep players interested and keep streamers streaming it until the LAN, and then once they release it, they'll just not focus as much on the Pro League. And that's not Hi-Rez's fault at all. They didn't have the funds to do it because of so many other ventures that they tried that didn't go too well. And I mean, esports in general is just a money dump. It's just not. It's not profitable. So I was really sad to see it go, especially since like that was my last opportunity to play at Worlds that I really wanted to do. But I'm glad at least someone from my team won since Coast got his dub. So I was really happy for him.
That's true. Yeah, that must have been like, I don't want to go back too much, but that team breaking apart must have been like a heartbreak for you, right? When like Quig got put onto a different team, then Coast goes onto a different team.
Yeah, no, that was very tough. Coast, yeah, it was surprising because we beat the Dragons. So it was like, why would he leave to join the Dragons? In hindsight, fucking beautiful decision. But yeah, that kind of sucked. And then after he left, I think Quig also had his opportunity to join Tingz, and he just saw a chance to play with some like elite players and very veteran players, and I think he wanted that. But those two leaving was rough. We had Neil join. Neil, honestly, was such a blessing to have in the team. He's such a fun guy, very positive all round. Not a bad thing to say. And Stu, I think Stu has had a hard time in the league, similar to me, where he was on bottom teams a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he did well, especially coming in and trying to like fill the gap that Coast left, where he has to play super aggressive to benefit me. But I think Stu was more of a passive player, and I think he would have preferred to play that way, but we had to force him to play around our playstyle. But I think he did well adapting to that as well. But I was devastated. I was like really shocked, because especially when we get third, it was like, damn, come on guys, just a few more months.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was like a lot of things that season that didn't make any sense. Like Jake got kicked from a team that was what 12-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in that season that to me didn't make any sense. I'm like, obviously there's personal stuff going on that we don't know about that's like close to the public, but like looking from an outside perspective, it's like what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, that one was odd to me as well. Once I found out about that, I was a little shocked. Especially how well they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I had the same thought process too when I saw your team break apart, because I remember like saying that too. I'm like, why would this team start breaking apart? Why would the Hounds start breaking apart? Why would Coast go to the Dragons when they literally just beat the Dragons? Like, there's just so much potential there. Like I said, hindsight, you know, I mean, obviously they ended up winning winning everything, but like, it was very interesting, you know, in the time. Okay, so we're here at the Death of Smite, going back to it. What kind of led you to that sort of like, I don't want to say negative, but sort of like pessimistic idea of Smite 2 only having one LAN and like being bad? Was it just the funds that you ended up mentioning, or was there other things to it?
I mean, Smite 1 over the years was just like, it was slowly going down. It was never gonna keep going, so they had to do something different. Oh, there we go. Had to do something different to where they could kind of pull interest. But I don't, like, Hi-Rez wasn't as big a company as, let's say, Blizzard or, you know, like is it Valve who makes CS:GO 2? It is Valve, isn't it?
I think it might be Valve. Yeah, I think it might be Valve. I'm not 100% though, but I'm gonna go with Valve.
But and then after seeing the Smite 2 like showing, I wasn't impressed, especially with all the hype around it, like Unreal 5. Sorry, my cat's on my keyboard. Unreal 5. It just looked like the same game but worse graphics and not as smooth. Like, I remember we mentioned before, like getting into Smite, what really drove me is like how fluid it felt, and this game just did not feel fluid at all. It felt very clunky when I played it. So I just didn't see a future for it, especially like how can you have a LAN with 12 gods available? Like, it doesn't, that didn't click to me, especially when they're like, oh yeah, we'll just keep releasing characters. I'm like, okay, oh, they're all characters from Smite 1. Oh, what is the difference, guys? What changed? They must have had a vision but not the funds to make it happen, and not the time frame to make it happen. They definitely got put on a really, really bad schedule, and I feel so sorry for the people who had to work on that and then just got like canned after putting like their heart and soul into trying to make that game work. I have no ill feelings towards them. I didn't see the reasoning behind making a new version of a game that was already really good.
I agree. Yeah, I think I don't know what their market strategy was. Maybe it was to bring in like new players, because to me, Smite always kind of felt like a game where it's like, I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast, but it has like a niche audience, right? Like Smite's kind of like on its own on an island over here, and maybe you have like other games over here, but Smite's by itself. But it's a very dedicated audience, and so maybe what they were trying to do was bring in like new players from this massive landmass, all these other games, into Smite that want to try. And you're not really going to try Smite unless it's like a new game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that was sort of like their marketing decision, but there's something always about it, because I think like the way they marketed it out, I'm not going to say it was great, but like I still think they hit a lot of points. I mean, you got content creators to play it, put it on stream. You obviously did Twitter marketing, all the social media stuff. So people were coming in, but I think the big thing is like people weren't staying. And maybe it kind of goes back to what you said. Maybe it's like that fluidness of the characters. Why do you think the characters didn't feel as fluid? Do you think it was like, do you think they were just, the design of their kits were just clunky, or do you think it was like the engine?
Well, for me, it was the design of the kits were the exact same when they first came out, right? They have like a slight change.
Yeah.
Like Anher ult.
Right.
It was a slight change. It was the exact same character, but it just didn't feel right. Like I'd put up Anher pillar and it would be for like 0.3 seconds until it came up. It was like really small things that if you've played Smite 1, you would notice in Smite 2, right? And again, I think their marketing was brilliant. They got a ton of people to play it. They advertised it at Worlds. Marketing was brilliant. I just feel like the game wasn't in a position where you should market it. They showed it off to a ton of people and it didn't look good. And so their first impression of that game is, not the best. So why would they ever want to try it again, you know? But I think their main priority was console. Smite is such a huge MOBA on console, especially on Xbox. And every time they released a Smite 1 update, I'm pretty sure it would break on console. So they wanted a new game so that every time they could update it, it would update it on both platforms, right? So it would just be more convenient.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. That's interesting. I always heard too that that they were kind of like running out of devs for like, what was it, UE3 that they were running on, I believe.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone learns like UE3 anymore.
Right, because UE5 is a new thing. I mean, even prior to UE5, you have UE4. So
yeah, exactly.
So I think they were like running out of devs as well. From what I was told, obviously there's a lot of rumors that circulate and all that kind of stuff. But where Smite 2 is now, obviously there's no Pro League. They're starting to like auction off like a lot of their production equipment. I don't know if you saw that, but they're like auction. I tried to bid for some of the stuff. Hey, listen, the Smite cams were on point. I had a friend watching. He was like, bro, he used to play Valorant. He likes Valorant. I was like, dude, your guys' player cams are better than Val's cams. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But do you think like obviously Smite's kind of in a dead space right now. Do you think that the community tournaments sort of like help at all? Or do you think they're sort of just like a band-aid to something that is just deteriorating?
I think Smite will always have a dedicated player base and a dedicated like viewer base just based off nostalgia alone. But I don't see it making like a rise, if that makes sense. I think it's good if they want to keep that same player base, they want to keep like the game running. They could definitely keep doing tournaments. There's enough streamers to play it. Smite's viewership, based on how popular the game is ridiculous, by the way. I don't know if anyone's ever brought that up. Like, it's absolutely crazy how popular the streamers are, with how small the game is. So they could definitely capitalize on that. I just don't see it making a resurgence. Unless something crazy happens. Or they make like an official release that does really well. But I think they already missed the mark with how they marketed it, because they like set it as like a release. I think nowadays it's very popular to have like early access. Hey guys, it's early access, and it's just early access for like 3 years. Like, where's the hype for the game anymore?
No, I totally get that. Do you still play Smite 2, or I know you've been playing other games recently?
I've been dabbling. I don't have an interest in playing it as much because I have no competitive drive to play it. Like, I like playing games where I can improve. And Smite 2, I don't feel there's a future at the moment.
Right.
You know, hopefully they figure that out. But for me, it felt like a worse version than the first game. And that's how I've always had my thoughts on it. But I've played a few story games. I've been playing indie games. I asked Twitter for some indie game recommendation. I've downloaded all them because they're on sale. But I've not really been gaming as much. I've been touching grass for the most part. So I've spent the majority of my life sat on my PC. I'm like, you know what, guys? I'll try a bit of something else. I'll try something else for a bit, see what it clicks.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to ask you like a few kind of for fun personal questions to just like close out the episode. What inspired the name Ducky? I have to know.
So I used to be called X Alpha Wolf X. That was one of my first games. On Halo, I was the Black Widow because we had a spider clan. Yeah, so we had those. But yeah, it was like XX Alpha Wolf or something stupid like that. Then it was like Arctic Wolf spelled incorrectly. Then it was Wolfie EU. That was my other name. And then every time I got like Lobster on my team or someone else to be like, damn, can we please have the other Wolfie? You are dog. So I checked, and there was too many people called Wolfie, so I changed it to Ducky, and I spelt it incorrectly because Ducky was already taken. So I'm just gonna put a 3 there. Why not? And that's how Ducky showed up.
Dude, that's why there's so many Wolfies. Like,
yeah, there's a ton of Wolfies.
Yeah. Like, is it, and it's all EU too, right? It was all EU players that did Wolfie.
Besides Wolfie 2032, you had me, you had Wolfie, like the one I teamed with, and then Wolfie 2032.
Yeah, you guys are crazy over there.
Yeah.
Who is the biggest inspiration in your life?
In general?
In general, it doesn't just have to be Smite. I know Fumble you were talking about, but yeah, in general.
That's a hard one, man.
Yeah.
Damn. This might get really deep in a moment.
Yeah, hey, listen, I didn't say this was gonna be easy.
I can't think of like a set one. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. That's my goat. But if like people that were coming to mind, I think Wraithen would be one of them.
Wraithen, really?
Yeah, I think Wraithen's up there. He's someone who like always took care of me. He didn't even know me that well, but let me into his home. You know, let me hang out when I was homesick. Always let me stay at his place for like a few months because I didn't have a place to stay. Was always like very extroverted, always tried to teach me a lot. And I don't know, he's someone who always like stuck up for me, even when I was like doing bad or having a hard time in the league. So he was like someone I wanted to make proud because he always had faith in me. That makes sense.
Yeah, he was like a support pillar for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone you could lean on. Nah, shout out to Rathan, bro.
Yeah, I love Raven. I miss him.
Ducky, last question for you. What does the future hold for you? In general. It doesn't have to be video games. Yeah, it's in general.
God, I don't know, man. Streaming, I enjoy, and I've got like a dedicated viewer base, which I love. Love you guys. But I don't have like a set game that I'm like sat down like, yes, I want to play for 8 hours. So I need to figure that out. Maybe I'll do something YouTube content creation wise. I love being creative, but I need to start that. I love my fitness stuff at the moment because I'm just progressing, and I love seeing progress in myself. So the calisthenics stuff, I'm currently getting my PT license, so I can start doing that. Though I don't want to be training in a box gym because that sounds boring. I'd love to do that online, but again, I need to figure out the content creation side of it. Really good at making coffee now. I keep making jokes to my friends that I'm Ken Kaneki, literally the guy from Tokyo Ghoul, but they keep saying, "Nah, shut the fuck up, like that's not you." But yeah, no, I want to try the fitness stuff. I'm getting really good at my calisthenics stuff, and I'm happy with my progress. Streaming, I enjoy. I've just got to find games that I want to play, and then maybe I'll dabble in YouTube. But I've been stuck doing the same thing for like 12 years, so having this freedom of choice is it's very hard to just pick one. So I kind of want to experiment with them all and just see what clicks, because I'm not like in a rush to do it. So I think that's what I'll try and do. Any of those above.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you're starting like the next chapter of your life, you know? It's like there's a little bit of concern there because it's new, it's change, and I feel like naturally people are scared of change. But like at the same time too, I think it's like also progress, right? Because it's something that, as you said, you're sort of free to make your own decision. And also too, next time you say the Kaneki joke, just like have like a wig and just get like white hair. You know?
Oh yeah, start doing this, cracking the fingers.
Yeah, cracking the fingers, get your hair white. Dude, I swear in anime, it's always the guys with white hair that are OP. The second he got white hair, I knew it was over.
Something's about to kick in, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Ducky, dude, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much for being on, for sharing your Smite story. I know myself and obviously everybody listening, you know, they clicked on this because they wanted to hear about you, wanted to hear about your story, so greatly appreciate it. Yeah, man, I just thank you so much, brother. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, no, thank you for letting me go down memory lane a bit. It's nice to recall some things that I've forgotten and look back on it. Even if, you know, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, it's nice to have that time. And yeah, thank you guys for watching as well.